Aloha, y'all. Welcome to my channel, The Socially Awkward Chef. I don't know about you, but falafel hits all the food notes for me. They're crispy, fluffy, and packed with flavor. So this is going to be our meatless Monday dinner, and with just a little prep work, you'll be eating falafel in no time too. So first, we are going to start with our garbanzo beans. For this recipe, we want to use dried ones, which look like so. And you're going to take a bowl and take 1 cup of dried chickpeas, fill that bowl up with lots of water and cover it and soak it for at least 12 hours so they will triple in size. So don't underestimate these little guys. So after said overnight or 12 hours, you're going to have a big old batch of this. And we're going to set that aside while I get the rest of my ingredients set up. Next, I am going to take 1 jalapeno and we're going to seed it. And then from here, I'm just going to cut it into big chunks and then set it aside while I cut up my other ingredients, which you can see there are 3 cloves of garlic and half of 1 medium-sized onion. And since we're going to be using a food processor, we just want manageable chunks. Next up is the garlic. I'm just going to cut off the end. Set that aside. Just going to cut each of these cloves in half. Set that aside. Oop, there's some seeds. And in order to get the seeds out, I just tap my knife over a bowl. And that usually does the trick. So slice that, set it to the side. Here's my 1/2 of a medium onion. Cut that into chunks. And I'm going to set that aside. I've set my jalapeno and garlic and onion aside. So next I'm going to work on some fresh dill. I'm going to use about 1/4 cup. So I am just getting these little thick stems off. Just pulling them through my fingers. And I'm just going to line these up and run my knife through it just a little bit. And then I'm going to set that aside for a sec. And what I did earlier was I took 1 bunch of flat leaf parsley, washed it, and I just took the stems off because they're usually pretty stemmy and you don't want that in your falafel. I also took 1 bunch of cilantro and just removed the thick stems. So some of these, there's some stem in there. It's fine. It's going to go and get blitzed anyway. So I'm going to set these aside for now and reset, and we're going to get our falafel going. We've got our food processor set up, so let's get our garbanzo beans and herbs loaded up. So what I like to do is layer this. So I'm going to put half the chickpeas in the bottom of the food processor. Then I'm going to add in all of the herbs. And then we've got all the onion, garlic, jalapeno. And then to that, I'm going to add my spices. So 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, ground. That's that. I've got 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. That is optional. That's that one. Going to do 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm actually going to add just a little bit more cumin. That was not quite a teaspoon. And then to top it off, the remaining chickpeas. And I'm going to cover this up and we're going to pulse it and work it into a fine, not paste, but it'll be quite finely ground. And you'll see that as this is processing, we are going to be using our spatula to kind of get things all emulsified together. So let's get started with that. We are almost there. I'm just going to give it another 15 to 20 seconds. That looks pretty good. That's about where we want it. The consistency is like really, really thick grits-ish. All right, so from here, what I'm going to do is transfer this into a bowl. I wanted to show y'all what this falafel mix looks like as far as texture, because one of the keys to a good falafel base is to minimize the moisture. So after you've soaked your garbanzo beans overnight, you really want to make sure those are drained well. All your veggies, after they're washed, make sure those are dried as good as possible, because if it gets wet and soupy, you can't make your little forms, your patties or balls with this. Anyway, we are going to cover this up with some plastic wrap, pop it into the fridge for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to make our falafel. Okay, I am ready to make my falafel. So I am going to take about, say, just shy of a 1/4 cup. You totally do not need to be technical with how the size of the falafel. I kind of like them in patty form. That way I'm using less oil. Speaking of which, I've got some oil in my frying pan heating on medium heat while I am getting these together. Because I'm getting pretty hungry. So, also, I've got this on some plastic wrap, and that is going to be advantageous to you because when we go to fry these up, they're a little bit wonky to handle. So the plastic wrap is going to help assist you in getting these in one piece from the cutting board into your saute pan. Okay, let me just find some room here. And if any of the falafel patties start to crack, you can just easily just push it back into shape. Our oil has been heating up, so I am going to test it to see if we're ready to fry up our falafel. And that is looking good. So I'm going to use the end of the plastic wrap and gently tip that falafel into my hand and very carefully lower it into your oil, preferably facing away from you, but I know it's not easy. Just be careful. Don't burn yourself. I'm going to put in probably 4 of these because I do not want to overcrowd the pan. And I'm also going to cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes per side. And then I'll flip them over. These guys are getting nice and golden brown. So I'm just going to use 2 spatulas and very gently flip each one over. If you don't have 2 spatulas, you can totally use 2 forks. Just be careful. Okay, and now we're just going to continue to cook those for another couple of minutes on the other side. Excuse me. Also for the oil, I'm using vegetable oil, but you can go ahead and use any neutral oil of your choosing. I just do not necessarily recommend olive oil for this particular dish just because olive oil is a great taste, but it also is equally strong. I'm going to take these out of the pan and drain them on some paper towels. And I'm basically going to repeat with the remaining falafel until everybody is cooked. All of my falafel are done, and I'm so happy because I'm starving and I cannot wait to eat. But I wanted to give y'all some culinary ASMR to check out just how nice and crispy, crunchy the outside is. So enough of that. I'm ready to dig in. So you can see the interior. And it's all beautifully cooked, nice and golden brown on the outside. And that's it. That is easy falafel. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you give this recipe a try. If you've liked what you see so far, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. Until we eat again, bye!